Good news is we have a very short announcement list today. We're going to start off with John Susie and talking about our Pro-Am this week. By the way, no meeting next week. We're all doing Pro-Am on Wednesday.
Thank you, Ingrid. Well, we are in the home stretch, and it wasn't that long ago that I said there were 40 days to go and 50 days to go, and now there's 5 days to go. And so everything at the house is starting up today. They're bringing the tent, and the chairs and the tables, so that's the first phase, and everything else will be coming early next week. But for those of you who have registered on Eventbrite, I have attempted, and I sent a reminder email to those who hadn't claimed their tickets yet yesterday. So it will come from the Memorial Tournament / Ticketmaster. It's these tickets are in my wallet, so to speak, and I'm sending them to everyone. And if you plan on going on the course, you will need to have that digital ticket on your phone when you go to the tournament. There are no physical tickets, no paper tickets, nothing, no badges anymore. So look in your email and look for something from the Memorial Tournament, accept the tickets. If you have an issue, send me an email. It's not coming from my email, it's coming from the Memorial Tournament. That's the way, and I sent a note to everyone that hadn't claimed their tickets yesterday. Now, it's not impossible to do it the day of, but I would like to minimize the amount of things we have to do that day. We certainly will accommodate that. We have plenty of tickets. If you still intend to register, we need to get the counts pretty much today or Monday at the latest for food and things like that. We have a pretty good idea how many we're going to be able to accommodate, so we're in pretty good shape. But let's keep praying for good weather. And right now it says it's going to rain, but you never know around Columbus, Ohio. They always say it's going to rain, and sometimes it doesn't. So that will be a good thing on Wednesday. So thank you for your cooperation and patience up to this point. But let me know if you need anything. I'll be watching my email all weekend.
Hey, John, can we ask, has anyone received the tickets you've sent them in their inbox?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who the sender was really from? Was it Memorial Tournament or Ticketmaster?
Yeah. Mine said Memorial.
Mine said Memorial.
Yeah, mine in the subject line says John sent you one ticket. So
Okay.
that's the-
Thank you.
I have
Alrighty.
one right here.
One more announcement.
Morning, everybody. Just wanted to let you know that we had a speaker a few weeks ago from Life Sports, and our board has decided to support their effort by $1,000 contribution. That pretty much taps out our budgets for the year. But in the next few days, hopefully, we will be approving $1,000 contribution to send one underprivileged kid to summer camp. So thank you.
Thank
That
you.
covers what?
Oh.
4 weeks, doesn't it?
That covers 4 weeks. And also, if you would like to attend one of their camps, they've invited us to come Wednesday, June 12th and Thursday, June 20th from 8:30 to 10 at Old Sawmill Elementary.
We have Rotarian members going both on the 12th and on the 20th.
Yeah,
So join us if you can.
if you're interested, text me or email me and I'll send you a link so that you can sign up.
Great. And I lied. There's one last announcement.
Good morning. Just a reminder to everybody, on the 15th of June, Saturday, the 15th, I believe at 6:30 PM, we have our annual installation dinner. It's going to be right here. We've got both these rooms. It's going to be a great time. So if you haven't RSVP'd for that, please do. We've got about 50 people RSVP'd so far. So usually we have around 75 or so. So if you haven't made plans yet, please be sure to do so. Also, I'm in need of some volunteers to help out with decorations and signups and things like that. So I'll be sending out an email later today. Please look out for that, and I would appreciate your help. Thanks a lot.
Let's welcome Jean with a very, very large and great party. So look forward to seeing everybody at the installation. And Calvin Gephardt had a last minute emergency at work. Dave Williamson is, as always, our best sergeant at arms in a pinch. So David, thank you.
Good morning, Rotary.
Since you forgot the number of announcements, it's $1 fine.
Oh.
Just to start with. Okay, two things I need to do. I promised Calvin that I would fine Trish $1 because Calvin said he was gonna fine Trish $1. And I have no idea why, but Trish, I'm sorry, you have $1.
Okay.
All right, good for you. Everybody else, Rotary protocol, you already know what it means. We have to have our pin on. Everybody got your pin? Got your name tag so that the new members can put names and faces together? And do you have one of the business cards? Now, you should have one because I just put a whole bunch on the table. But here's the key thing. Come back next week, you get more cards because you gave out the ones I just gave you. So please make sure that you're giving these out and let people know. We're gonna draw for $20 for the small pot. And Rick, how much is the big pot?
It's $111.
Okay. First ticket. Bob, what are the last 4 numbers there? You can't read it either. So, there you go. Susan, tell me the last 4 numbers there.
8960.
8960. 8960. All right, Ms. Barbara, you have your choice. You can take $20 cash, or you can go for the big pot. Big pot it is, okay. Here's for the second one. Ramona's gonna read the last 4. Roberta, I know everybody.
Has been for a long.
That's $1.
8975.
8975. 20 bucks. 8975. That would be yours? Surprise. There you are, Susan. Congratulations. Okay, there we go. So we'll go. Thank you all very much. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergeant. Oh, yeah, and $1 coming back to Roberta. We are on sort of a speed dating adventure again today. We have a lot of committees to get through. And so please, committee heads, when it's your turn, go ahead and stand up and start walking towards the room when your previous committee guy is talking. So first one up is our financial, just like we start every board meeting. We're gonna start off with the financial look at the club and then at the foundation. So first, Rich Weber is quickly gonna take us through, and then Susan.
No winner.
All right, so Ingrid gave me a call the other day and said I would be leading off because the treasurer's job is the most important job. Of course, then she told me that I had 3 minutes, so I figured, well, it can't be all that important, so. Anyway, I do take my job very seriously and Ingrid wanted me to go over some of the controls that we have in place to make sure that every one of your dollars and dues go to what you intend it to go to, so. I wanted to start off with, who can tell me what our dues are? How about an annual dollar amount? $350. $350, but out of that, a lot of that's earmarked right off the bat. So we have Rotary International dues, we have district dues, and we have the Rotary Magazine. And we also do the $25 for every Rotarian every year contribution. So all that adds up to about $153 is already earmarked out of your dues before we ever get a chance to use it for things that we want to use it for. So just want to do that. Dual control on all cash items. We have 2 people count it. We sign the form and get that through as quickly as we can. And in addition to the cash controls, the treasurer produces a report every month and it's presented to the board, and the board reviews it and votes on it every month. So we have some oversight on that as well. We also do our year-end reporting, which is our 990 form. And I did want to mention that because David Benz has taken that over for us the last several years. And that's like a $2,000, well, it's $1,000 to the club and about $1,000 to the foundation as well. So if you ever see Dave, thank him for that generous contribution. But again, that's another review that we have. The other control we have is any check over $500 requires a form that's signed by the committee chair and one other member of the chair. So those are kind of the basic things that we try to follow. The next slide, do I have a?
I got it.
Thank you. This is the Rotary money map that was, I think Cap played a big part in putting this together. So it kind of shows, how we do things as far as how the money for the Paul Harris, and the fundraisers go to the foundation. I'm the treasurer of the club and it's separate from the foundation. The big thing I wanted to point out here is, new expanded, project ideas start from you guys. It's so important that if you guys have a passion and we're not doing something for it, let us know. Find the. So it's really important that you guys step up, find the, which avenue of service it falls under. They'll bring it to the club, and then if we have funds available, we usually grant those requests. And if not, we can send it to the other side of the map, which Susan's gonna kind of talk about, so they can do a grant. And even if we can't do anything this year, we can put it in the budget for next year. So please, this is a very important part. Is that it?
That's it.
My 3 minutes of fame, so thank you.
Rich prepares endlessly for all of these board meetings. So Rich, thank you for all of your contributions and everything that you control for all of us and keep us on the straight and narrow. One of the things you'll notice today is this is a recruiting event as well. So people are out looking for more members to join their committees and activities. So expect that you'll hear a little bit of that and think about, for your growth as a person in Rotary, what don't you know how to do? And is there an area that you can contribute to these different organizations you'll be hearing more about? Susan's going to go next, and then we'll have Dave Williamson.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to talk about the foundation. And I take my job very seriously too. First of all, I think we need to recognize who our board members are. It's myself as the chair. Cap Clegg is our treasurer. Gene Oliver is because he's the incoming president. Roberta Kane. Susan West, because she's a past president. And Wolfland, and then Amy Barnhart is our bookkeeper. So she does the club and the foundation. I wanted to also recognize today Paul Harris Award winners that I have pins here today for. Ron Morgan is Paul Harris Fellow +6. And that means he's got 7 Paul Harris's. Pete Cushney, if you want to come up here, I've got your pin, is Paul Harris Fellow +1. Phil Yoder, if you want to come up here too, Paul Harris Fellow +2. Claudia has Paul Harris Fellow +5. Kent Underwood is Paul Harris Fellow +3. And I reached my Paul Harris Fellow +8. So we have a pin. Yeah, and I can't do anymore. So you know what I did instead? I did the bequest. So I want to talk a little bit about what the bequest is all about, because I think it's important for everybody to know. In your trust, in your will, you can designate to Rotary $10,000 upon your passing, your spouse's passing, that goes directly to the Rotary Foundation. And I did this a couple of weeks ago. Actually, Ingrid and I did it together, and I got all this stuff. So I have now my bequest pin. And in addition to that, you get a bequest necklace for your spouse or wife or yourself. And then you get this great big huge thing that came in the mail yesterday that basically is a big thank you. So I don't know if we get into a bucket of people that they watch the obituaries. I'm not sure. Because there's really, I mean, this is just our it's sort of an honor thing. You say, okay, I'm gonna do the bequest, and it's really important to the foundation. And it makes, you know, it really is important. So you have the document on your.
How do they find out? I mean,
Well,
how they
it's-
know?
No, there's a form,
There's a form.
and we're gonna just do it.
Okay.
Here.
You had them on the table.
Well, I passed them all out. You guys have the bequest forms. It's very simple. You fill it out. You basically email it and you sign it, and then you get all the stuff in the mail. And so, anyway, it's very easy. And I got an email too to say thank you. So the money map is really important for how our club and our foundation works together. Basically, I'm gonna do fundraisers first, because all the money that we raise through the car show, Polar Bear, and the Pro-Am, the money is deposited into the foundation. So all of us as sponsors or contributors, we want to make sure we can take that as a tax credit on our income taxes. And if we put it through the club, we couldn't do that. So any of this money comes directly into the foundation. And then the club, our club person, Mr. Rich Weber, will write a letter and say, based on our club budget for the next year, we need X number of dollars. And then the foundation will approve it, grant the money back to the club. So that's sort of how it all works. How we calculate what we're going to grant each year for the grants is we take the last 3 years of our year-end financials in June. And then we average them and we take 5%. So what we've funded so far this year, is that on another side? Right here.
Yeah.
Dublin Food Pantry is 12.5. That was our big commitment for 2 years. Let Me Run, 2,500. The Centera Catalyst for Change, 1,250. And then the robotics booster at 1,000. And then once we get everybody's vote, we'll have life sports as well. So we basically gave away all of our money for this year. And that's because of all your great ideas, and we wanted to support you. So any questions, see me or any of our board members. And I'm turning it over.
Great, thank you. Let's have another applause. The foundation is critical, as is the treasurer of the club. One of the things you'll be hearing is that there is a discussion about the dues. And we're looking at possibly having a modest dues increase this year. And the board's working on that and worrying about that in terms of financial calculations right now. But again, they're trying to keep it as a modest sum that can be a small increase because everything is so much committed already. With that, we have Dave Williamson, if you please come forward, and then Mike Isler right after that. Dave is the head of our Sergeant at Arms Committee, as you all know. Dave.
Thank you. It says Claudia Trusty here, so.
Yeah.
You can help me out. I want to tell you about the Sergeant at Arms. The Sergeant at Arms to me is the best job you could ever have in the Rotary Club. There's two parts of it. Most of the folks are aware of the weekly meeting activities. You see it every time somebody's up here, they're leading, they're selling tickets out front, they're doing all kinds of things to help set up things. But we owe a round of applause again to Rich Weber. Rich is probably the most dedicated servant here in the Rotary Club. He's here at 6:30, putting up the banners, setting up the room, putting all the stuff out, which is really the Sergeant at Arms duty. But Rich on his own takes care of most of that. But that's what I'm saying. What you don't know and don't see is a lot of the things that the Master Sergeant at Arms does in support of the club. The Master Sergeant at Arms is here to help the president organize, plan, and operate the club on a weekly basis. So you're a member of the executive committee. The executive committee is the president, the past president, the president-elect, the vice president, and treasurer, and the sergeant at arms, and the secretary. They meet monthly, and they go through and sit and make sure that the club is on track, that we're on schedule, and we're meeting all of the requirements that we have set up as our goals and objectives. But your primary role as the Sergeant at Arms, the Master Sergeant at Arms, is to help the president to plan the meetings and to conduct the meetings in an orderly and appropriate manner according to Robert's Rules of Order. So we did get involved with that. You have a lot of activities involved. in which the Rotary, we have all of our materials and supplies. Where all this stuff is stored is down in Store Hall, the U Store off Avery Road. So that's where we have all of our gear, our tents, all the things that we use over the course of an annual program. The Master Sergeant at Arms is the keeper of all of those materials and supplies and the things. So there's a lot going on helping with the club, but primarily the Sergeant at Arms does two things: keeps order and has a lot of fun, because the one thing you get to do is the fun. So you have a lot of power and influence over a lot of folks in this club. So if you want to be a sergeant, come see me. But it's a great job, and as far as I said earlier, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best job in the club.
David, thank you for always keeping me on track. I can't tell you many times during board meetings, he's like, no, we need to do something different. Here, we gotta have an actual motion, Ingrid. David Betts also has joined us, so we can give him a round of applause for doing all that tax work for us. Thank you. And Mike, you and Kent have really co-chaired a lot this year. Can you take us through everything that's part of that?
So Kent is the dutiful chairman of our club services committees, collection of committees. He's fishing, so good for Kent today. It's a pretty big collection of things, as you can see. I think it's super important that club services exists really to take care of all of us, right? If we are a club of people, we need to make sure we're taking care of people and having some fun. So whoever's advancing the slides is going to need to click through these quickly. So we'll start with the committee that I chair. And you can see the members there, Claudia, Luke, Ramona, Kent, and myself. We welcomed Michael Darling onto the committee. Thank you, Michael. And I just want to thank Dan Schwegman, who was on the committee last year, who is now leaving us behind for much greater things since he's becoming the VP of the club. But thank you all that were able to participate in some of the events this year. I think we had a really good time. We did some new things, brought back some things we've done for years. And just we had a meeting this week, and we're talking about a number of things. We're talking about we're still going to do that euchre tournament. We're going to wait till it's cold and not nice out. We'll do the euchre tournament. We're looking at a progressive perfect party. We're going to do a gathering at the Speakeasy in Bridge Park. We're going to do the river cleanup with a picnic afterwards in August. So lots of fun things on the horizon. We're bringing the happy hours will resume. We kind of take June off because of the Pro-Am and the installation party. And we will do another survey. Thank you all. Your help by responding to the survey at the beginning of this year really helped us plan things that you all wanted to do. So we're going to do that again. And we are very happy to take additional members to the social committee. So just reach out to me, see me. It's fun. We share the work. It's not a ton of work. We get together about once every 6 weeks, have a drink, plan out some things. It's fun. All right, let's move on. Family Rotary. Cindy has done this for years. Cindy, she does just a wonderful job. She feels, deeply about everyone and the challenges, that we all encounter. So she keeps everybody informed of what's happening. She shares good news. She shares sad news. Just does a wonderful job. And then the speakers committee. I got to get the story about the picture.
Yeah.
Please.
This striking chairperson here. So even though the speakers committee sits under club services, we decided a few years ago to have our president-elect chair that committee. So Jean has chaired that committee this year, has done a wonderful job. Great work by all these people. We've had just great speakers again. So that will be now Mr. Georgeton will chair that committee going forward. Tons of work there, as we know, but Jean, you've done a great job this year. I don't think we've had any hiccups, so great work. And then, am I finished? Hopefully. Greeters and magazines. So, don't do what I did. When you sign up to be a greeter, make sure you put it on your calendar so that you remember to show up early. But please sign up to be a greeter. Roberta does a great job of bringing that clipboard, making sure that we always have people greeting, and it's fun to greet. And I love seeing how many different people sign up as greeters. It's great. And then the magazines, we've done that for years and they want us to keep doing it. So when she asks for magazines, bring them in. Okay.
Great. I would say with Mike and Kat, we've had more fun this year on all of these different elements of the club. Kat, if you wouldn't mind taking us through everything you do with New Generations, and I'll go back and pick up Claudia's duties after you do New Generations.
First of all, that money map, you can tell I didn't do it because it's got straight lines. I don't know how to do straight lines. Andrew Alston helped put that together back in 2004, so we've been working on that for 20 years. I don't think I did this.
There is a timer here going.
So I'll wrap with it. I didn't have a cool hat like Roberta had, so I don't know, beekeeper's hat that she had there or what? 6 sizes. So Interact, think about what Interact does, it's the only committee. I mean, our club does a great job supporting causes, Rett syndrome, we help do the research on that. The efforts you all put together on the car shows and all the fundraisers. We give money to causes, Let Us Run, Centero. Interact is the only committee where we're helping people help others. So we're helping high schoolers, not training them, but just letting their spirit and letting their activities blossom. And so I think it's the only committee where we're really helping people help others. So Interact is Rotary in high schools. We've had a great year. We've got 5 great advisors across 3 high schools and 2 middle schools. They've just done a myriad of projects. You heard that about a month ago, come in and talk about it. This year, for the first time, we had Camp Ray Orton. We take all the officers to Camp Ray Orton for a day and do team building and learn how to work together. And then this year, for the first time in 5 years, because of COVID, we're doing RILA, which is Rotary's Leadership Academy down at Rio Grande. And we're sending somebody down there this year for the first time. They got to provide their own education, their own transportation. So I don't know how they're getting to Rio Grande. I don't know if they've been there. I don't know how you get back if you get there. But we've got some pretty fun. Next year, we're gonna have more people at Camp Ray Orton and more people at RILA, just because we're gonna come back and food. And I'm done, so I don't know what my timer is, but.
Take one question. Folks are interested in working with the young folks. You've done a tremendous amount with leadership development. What kinds of folks do you need to join the committee and?
So, adults, so I think everybody in this room covers that. And basically meet with the high school advisor, find out when their meetings are. Right now, Claudia and Ash does Saida. Claudia does Kaufman High School, so we could use 3 or 4 other people to work together. Once a month is finding out when their school club meetings meet and just help support. It's just keeping that connection between Rotary and Interact. It's an easy job. It's just more FaceTime and just saying, we're at the meeting, say, hey, how can we help? And that's all we do. So.
Well, you do a lot of help. Thank you, guys. Claudia really doesn't feel well today. She said, she's never missed a meeting and never not felt quite this poorly. But I just want to say her role touches all of our committees. Her role touches every board vote. Her role keeps track of all of our minutes. And she's also a great liaison for us to the district because they all know her and she knows the district and all the processes. Again, the kinds of work she does is also a lot above and beyond. Flyers, Eventbrite, content, everything for our fundraisers. So one of the things that also is within her purview, she gets money for us on grants. Make sure that if you ever have a chance, make sure you understand what Claudia all does for our club and how she does it. And if there's a chance to offer some assistance, please do. She's doing a lot for us. And unfortunately, she's not here to hear all these great things, but she knows everything that she does and that she touches. With that, let's go specifically to the fundraisers. Every year, it's the job of the vice president coming in to take over the fundraising, and we have very fortunately great fundraising heads. If you would, Peter.
Yes, so fundraising committee is very important, as Susan just mentioned earlier, with respect to the Club Foundation in order to get the great money that we use to help support the things that we do. We need these fundraisers. And so the fundraising committee includes the Polar Bear, the Pro-Am, Polio Plus, the Irish Festival, and the Rotary Classic Car Show. And it's never static. So, you know, even though these are our traditional events, we're always looking for new ideas and things. And Polar Bear, I have to give a shout out to Pete Cushney and Sanan, and the Pro-Am is Dave Lundergan and John Susie, and then, of course, the Classic Car Show, that's Lou Cheruby, who's done just a fantastic job. So what does fundraising mean for you? Well, obviously, we want all of you to participate in our great fundraising events, but they also present great volunteer opportunities. Our fundraising events cannot happen without you, our members, volunteering for those events. So if you would like something fun and fulfilling to do, please, by all means, reach out to our fundraising chairs in order to volunteer, because without you, we can't make these events as great as they are.
Okay. A big round of applause for all the chairs of our different fundraisers. So John Susie, Dave Lundergan, Sanan, and Dave Williamson. As well as all the ones that we've chatted about. I will say, I'm sorry. Yeah, and Pete, the biggest one that kicks us off every year, the Polar Bear. The thing that's very interesting to me is on the car show. Go back to that for just 1 second, if you would, for me. Well, take a look at the numbers on the car show. Lou and I were talking about this yesterday. He has a very large committee, 20 folks he depends on every year to pull this off. His volunteer force is over 40 members. So same with the Irish Festival. I think Dave Williamson and Sanan, we staffed 156 shifts last year. So critical how important all of you are to each and every one of these efforts and each of the committees. So Wolf, if you would, we have had, I will say, Wolf was not originally going to take this role on community services at the start of the year. And I really appreciated you jumping in. We now have had over 11 service projects, which is, I think, a huge accomplishment. Tell us how you did it.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, first of all, I wanted to recognize all the committee members. You can read the names: Trevor, Lisa, Roberta, Claudia, Steve, Scott, Bruce, Bonnie, Coley Miller, Susan Robinall, John Susie, Jack Curtis, Calvin, Ramona, Jeff, Cindy, Craig Truex, Denisa Hiles, and also Jim Bandine has joined the committee too, so neglected to put his name up there. We've had many monthly projects, taxes and toiletries. Dan Schwegman's in charge of that. Meals on Wheels with Cindy Groniger and Joe Kranstuber. Dublin Food Pantry, which are volunteering for stocking shelves, Joe Kranstuber and Barb Anderson. Magazine collection, Roberta, Lisa, and Denisa. And Dublin One, which is also Lisa. These are our monthly service or annual service projects. In December, we did Adopt a Family, Red Kettle Bell Ringing. We did an in-service meeting with the Snowman Glove Project. In January, we did a toiletry collection for human trafficking. Committee will do January 12th after the meeting, so just the committee did that project. 2nd and 7, which is a reading event at Chapman Elementary. We did an in-service meeting, Salvation Army, and we packed hundreds of goodie bags. And the Polar Bear Open, obviously. In March and April, we did the District March Madness Food Drive, which was a collection for battered women. St. Patrick's Day Parade Marshalling. In May, we did a Community Service Day, which was in cooperation with the Chamber of Commerce. And we also did a member workshop, which Kurt Brown, Ingrid, and Hallie did. In June, we have the Pro-Am coming up, 4th of July Parade Marshalling. Irish Festival Liquor Stocking, Community Services Week in September, which is a collaboration with Kiwanis, Lions, Optimus International. This year we did a food drive and it was a competition between Scioto and Worthington Kilbourne in conjunction with their annual football game. And in October, we did Socktober, where we literally collected, I think, something like 52,000 pairs of socks across the district that we donated to people experiencing homelessness, as they say. And as far as grants, we went through this already, but Dublin Food Pantry, 12.5 for that. Let Me Run, 2,500. Centero Catalyst for Change, 1,250. Dublin Robotics, 1,000, and Life Sports is going to be 1,000 as well. So thanks to all of you, it's working.
Well, thank you. Of course, what sort of goes unsaid, but maybe I should just mention it. For each one of these projects, we'll, got a person who's leading that effort. But for each one of those efforts, he's also very closely involved in overseeing it. So for the amount of hours and time you take, as with all of our board, thank you, but especially the community services has just really left off the page this year with your leadership. Thank you. Roberta, if you'd come up and tell us a little bit about communications, and I'll keep the timer on you.
You know what button to push? It's on my phone, so sorry, you can't have it. Okay, so communications, we are the nuisances that send you emails every week, so. Okay, the communications committee is Erin Prescott, who has been a godsend since she joined the communications committee. Me, Wolf Land, who sets up the recordings of the meetings and the Zooms and sends Erin the recording of the Zoom every week and she uploads it to YouTube. Claudia Trusty, because she's a part of every committee, and me. And then we have substitute photographers, Michael Darling, Hallie Marquez, Susanna Wang, and anybody else that jumps in. I know there's been other people, so thank you so much for jumping in and helping with the photographs. It means so much to me. Okay, so we just recently added Susanna to our committee. Yay. Susanna is going to be sending out the weekly emails that Erin has been sending every week. And she'll be doing some of the other work that Erin's been helping with so that Erin can take over the newsletter, which I send out to you every week. Okay, we send out the monthly newsletter with photos of the meetings, updates on upcoming events, birthdays, Rotary anniversaries, and any committee updates. So if you don't read it, look through the photos at least, we update
dates.
what?
And verify the dates are on your calendar.
Yeah, right, and put those dates on your calendar. We update the website as needed, and it does need some more work, but we only have so many people and so much time. We take pictures, post them on Facebook and Flickr. So our photos on Flickr go back about almost 15 years, I think, 2008. Stop looking at your watch, you're making me nervous. I want to know and we also post them on the website. I want to know if anyone here wants us to be on Instagram also. Okay. Because if you raised your hand, you were going to be doing it. And then we post a summary of the weekly meetings on the website along with photos. Any questions? Okay. We also have a YouTube channel, which I just mentioned, and it has recordings of our meetings going back a couple years now. So we do a lot. And anyone that wants to join us is more than welcome. We can use more help.
What kind of help would you suggest?
They can jump in with their cell phone and take pictures when I'm not here, or help Susanna with her stuff, or help Erin, uploading to YouTube. So, you can take a little piece and just, Wolf can send you the YouTube recording and you can send it to YouTube. So
Yeah, one of the fun things about the communications committee is that so much of it can be done on your own time. It doesn't have to necessarily be done in a committee meeting in a room on Friday morning at 7 or 7:15. So if you've not been part of our communications machine, please see Roberta. It really is a fun organization task to do. Sharon Kendall asked me to go through her company real fast. Raleigh couldn't be here and Sharon is traveling as well. Roberta and Rolf have both been an instrumental part of the international committee and what gets funded. What you'll notice is that we've done several projects this year in conjunction with other clubs. But the water wells in Zambia was a $2,500 donation that we did with 10 other or 10 other clubs in the district for clean water. The literacy in Mongolia was a specific grant that again, Wolf was able to help us find out about at the district level that we thought was very worth doing with the Dublin Worthington Club. And then if you remember our meetings where we've had I want to say Manassas, that's not right. The gentleman at the Dominican Republic. Moises, yeah. Moises came and asked for scholarships. With one scholarship donation, we're funding 4 years of scholarship in the Rotary Club in the Dominican Republic. That leads us to what we'll probably be looking for dollar-wise with Jean. So Jean, as is doing budgeting right now, there's a discussion about doing another trip again next year. So Sharon is looking for more people to join the club and join the committee, but also anybody that will be joining the committee that might be interested in actually doing the hands-on work in the Dominican Republic is what's being discussed. So with that, that is the international committee's work. And let me have Steve Schmidt come up. Steve, you've got a number of elements to what your committee does, and if you'd let us know what that is. Thank you.
Good morning. So there's really 3 parts of the Education and Services Committee. First one is scholarship awards, and Steve Veragana coordinates that. The Dublin schools have a good system for getting students submissions, and then with the volunteers on the committee, which we're always looking for help with, we'll go through and review those submissions and rate them, and we'll select each year. Last few years, we've done 9 $1,000 scholarships for each of the high schools. There was a lot of talk this year about looking at how we do that, so I expect when the school year starts, we'll pull together a meeting to talk about how we want to do our scholarships next year. Robotics and vocational, we support the Dublin Robotics Boosters. As we see, we give them a donation of some funds, and then they always host a second round competition for the Lego League. And Cindy Dryden always calls and asks us for volunteers to come judge. And it's a lot of fun. Wolf and I've done it a number of times. Ron Morgan, Lucia Roby. You really get to see what these kids are doing, and they're amazing. We haven't really done a high school support. Last year we had a last minute request. One of the high school level teams got invited to a national competition in Houston. And we made a donation to help them fund their expensive world competition. So, and literacy grants, Julie Rinaldi is the committee chair for that. They really focused on 2 areas this year. One was the 2nd and 7, which Ryan Miller came with Craig Krenzel. Ryan Miller talked about that, and we made a donation to them. And then they invited us to go to some of the schools. They also collaborate with the Dublin Education Foundation, and one of the projects they did last year was Pocket Talk. You know, with having languages are spoken in our Dublin schools, the Pocket Talk is being used in some of the elementary schools to help the kids with translation into their their native language. I think she'll continue that. So Julie's always looking for help with that. They do focus on the schools that have the lowest reading scores and which have the highest number of free and reduced cost lunches. So if you're interested, Julie would always be the contact point for literacy, me for robotics or technology, and then Steve Veragana for scholarships. Thank you.
the work that Steve's committee does is not only important because of the Rotary work and fellowship that we get to bring together. Something I thought you'd want to know is that I had the pleasure of going to Dublin Education Foundation's charity fundraiser this year. And two key projects, one that happened during my visitor's time for the coffee machines for special ed kids. And then also the Pocket Talk that Steve was just mentioning. The Pocket Talk on the playground was demonstrated at that big meeting, that big fundraiser for DEF. And gets a tremendous round of applause and a great thank you from the Dublin schools. These are fundraiser, or the $5,000 that we gave, $2,500 for the foundation, $2,500 for the club for Let Me Run. But when we hear about them in the community, they make such a difference. And it's because David Benz had first brought the Let Me Run to us when he was president. I mean, these are the things that our club and that each of you have had as your ideas. Wolf with the world championship on the robotics. That made the world stage because we were able to help fund those kids to go and participate in these educational experiences. So again, the things that are happening with our clubs and these committees are changing people's lives, directly changing people's lives, both here and globally. Let me just finish up with Kurt and membership. He couldn't be here this morning, just like Kent was in Hawaii, even though my kids are trying to switch with him. Kurt is down in the Carolinas. And so he asked one big thing. He said, can you please let people know that we are recruiting people right now. We need members to join for the membership team. Kent does a nice job with the onboarding still in the little meetings, but it is a opportunity that he is looking to really grow the membership committee back up to the size it used to be. And so if you have any passion and interest to recruit some new members, Kurt really is looking to expand that committee specifically. And it's an opportunity to try something that you haven't tried. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our last slide, board member, Susan West. You have been a great advisor, a great executive committee member, and a committee role model. And she keeps me on track with new ideas all the time. So, Susan, thank you very much for your leadership. With that, I will close with a closing quote that says, never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that actually ever has. Margaret Mead. Have a great week. No meeting this week because we're going to see everybody Wednesday at John Susie's house for program. I know. It's